The Human Revolution. More than 200 years ago, the Britishers conquered Orissa. This marked the beginning of a dark period for its people. The Oriya people had been living in peace with themselves and with nature for many, many years. With the coming of the British, their troubles started. They had to pay taxes to their foreign masters for cultivating land. They could not even cut wood or sell forest produce without sharing a significant part of their earnings with their conquerors. The harsh laws were stringently imposed and strictly implemented. Anyone who opposed them had to face a severe punishment, which made the life of the people miserable. During that time, in the village of Naranagar, lived a brave and magnanimous man, Dalla Behera. He was the headman of the village and was known for his noble qualities. Not only in his village, but in the neighboring villages too, he commanded a great deal of respect and adulation. It was said that anyone in need who approached Dalla Behera was never sent back empty-handed. As the atrocities of the British rulers reached intolerable limits, the people started approaching Dalla Behera with their tales of war. "You are our only savior, Dalla Behera. If you do not come to our rescue, we will perish. We cannot bear this torture any more. We seem to be working our backs off, not for our families or ourselves, but for our cruel and cunning masters. Our children are starving, and we are helpless." Dalla Behera listened to these stories of suffering and decided to act. He asked his men to send word that all able-bodied men should report to his village by evening the next day. By the evening, the gathering had swollen to thousands. "Seeing all of you, my heart fills with pride. People have come and pleaded that we are helpless. Looking at you, I don't feel so. We can and we shall fight the British." "But, Dalla Behera, how do we fight the British? They have a huge army and the best artillery." "True, they have all these, but we too have our courage and conviction. Now tell me, are you all with me?" he questioned. "Yes, we are!" the crowd roared. "Yes, we are!" the crowd roared. Dalla Behera then set about planning the campaign. Many of the young men were soldiers who had the experience of fighting battles under the erstwhile king. They were called Paikas. Dalla Behera formed a council of war with Paikas and formulated a strategy to fight the British. The plan was, when the enemy was the least expecting it, Dalla Behera's army would attack. The first few battles were won by the lion-hearted Dalla Behera and his courageous fighters. They captured a number of key areas from the British. After the initial losses, the British hit back with a vengeance. They knew that the only way to conquer Dalla Behera's soldiers was by outnumbering them. Soon, fresh armies were brought in from all parts of the country. The latest military equipment was also collected, and a series of attacks was launched on the patriots. Dalla Behera's band of brave fighters could not resist the fresh assaults. The patriots suffered huge casualties, and many were captured. Dalla Behera managed to escape into the jungles with a handful of men. However, he did not give up the struggle against the British. He continued attacking their strongholds with his depleted band of warriors. The British captain, who had been put in charge of crushing the rebellion, wanted Dalla Behera at any cost. But in spite of his best efforts, he could not succeed. Finally, out of frustration, he announced a reward of 1,000 rupees for any person who would capture the revolutionary, dead or alive. In the meanwhile, Dalla Behera lost all his comrades in battle. He was now alone. He roamed the wild, sustaining on jungle fruits. He was still a free man, but his dream of freedom from the British lay broken. One day, while moving about in the jungle, he met a man who looked in great distress. On seeing Dalla Behera, the man came up to him and asked, "Could you tell me the way to Naranagar?" "Why do you want to go to Naranagar?" Do you know someone there? Dalabehera asked. I am going to meet Dalabehera of Naranagar, the man replied. Clearly he had not recognized Dalabehera. With his hair long, beard unkempt, and his clothes torn, the freedom fighter looked so much different from his earlier self. Why do you want to meet him? Dalabehera asked. My name is Jagat Panda. I am from Ganjam. I was shifting from my hometown to another place. My family has already left, and I had to carry my belongings. I was traveling in a boat when it capsized. I escaped with only the clothes you see on my body now. I have lost everything I had. I have a large family. How am I going to support it now? But what does Dalabehera have to do with this? Jagat looked at Dalabehera in surprise. It seems you do not know anything about Dalabehera. I have heard that his generosity is unrivaled. No one who has come to him with a request has ever gone back disappointed. I am sure if I put my sad case before him, he will come to my aid. Dalabehera was deeply touched by the man's faith in him. Poor fellow! Little does he realize that the Dalabehera to whom he has come for help is himself in such a pitiable state. A homeless vagabond who lives on roots and shoots. How can he help anyone? After a few moments, Dalabehera made up his mind and told Jagat. I know Dalabehera quite well, and I shall take you to him. He now lives in Kurda. Let us go. Dalabehera took Jagat straight to the British captain who was in Kurda. The captain, who couldn't recognize Dalabehera, asked him, Who are you, and why have you come here? I have heard that you are offering a reward of 1,000 rupees for the capture of Dalabehera, dead or alive. Is it true? Yes. Do you know where I can get him? He has been evading me for months, and unless I capture him, I will never be able to sleep in peace. Dalabehera looked the captain straight in the eye and declared, I am Dalabehera, who has robbed you of your sleep for such a long time. I now stand before you, unarmed. Please. What? You are Dalabehera? I can't believe it. But what has made you surrender so meekly? Dalabehera related the miserable tale of Jagat and concluded, I am trading my freedom for the happiness of this helpless man, whom fate has dealt a cruel blow. For a few seconds, the captain was speechless. Dalabehera, I knew you were a brave fighter, but I did not know you were a greater human being. Petty thoughts of revenge can never stand before such courage and sacrifice that you have shown. I salute you, O brave and noble one. I grant your friend the 1,000 rupees, and you your freedom. With these words, the captain shook the freedom fighter's hand, and they parted.